So it's not about what university you go to, it's not about what grade you get, it's all about what you can learn and your knowledge and things that can help you learn better. However, I just want to say that the title of this video is going to be why university doesn't matter as much as you think it does, and also how to build a cybersecurity portfolio. I do have a cybersecurity portfolio, and I actually spend more time on my portfolio rather than the university work because I understand this disconnect between industry and university. It doesn't perfectly align. Industry's up here, university's here. There's a massive gap of knowledge you need to actually get into the industry, and that gap of knowledge I'm learning from my portfolio. So that's one of the reasons why it's important to have a portfolio for your work, whether that be cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, data science, networking, anything, right? So there needs to be a portfolio in place for you to actually learn the knowledge that you're not learning in university. There's a bunch of other things university does as well, so it's not just retaining knowledge and learning better. It also can allow you to make new friends, make new connections, realise what industry you actually want to go into. There's plenty of people in my course right now who don't actually know exactly what they want to go into, but they know they want to do something in computer science. So whether that be AI, cybersecurity, data science, it really doesn't matter. But the fact that they're on their path to learning and retaining the knowledge to then be able to find out what career they want, that is very important. So that's also something university does. So personally for me, my portfolio is for cybersecurity. So I have things like blogs, I have vlogs, so like my YouTube channel you're watching on right now. I have certifications, I have write-ups, I have a bunch of things. I've got projects, I've got internships, I've got loads of stuff, right? So that is my cybersecurity portfolio, because I want to reduce the time from 6 months to get into the industry after I graduate to 0, and I have a graduate offer, or maybe not a graduate offer, but you know, something maybe just getting straight into the industry, right? So, and this is where my cybersecurity portfolio takes place, because no one just wants a person who goes to a top tier, top 25 university and just does that work. They get like a 2-1 or 2-2 or something, and then they just start working, right? That's what people think happens when they go to university, and that is completely wrong, and that's skewed from society. So that's not how it actually works. People want you to see actual implementation and development of the stuff you've learned in university. So if you learn a bit about Java, but you don't make any projects, they're not going to hold that as higher. They're not going to hold that as high as someone who learned a bit of Java on their own and then made a project, because then they actually have something to show for it. And that's why it's really important, because you need to stand out from every other person who's going to be applying to graduate jobs. And if you're doing the exact same modules and courses as all of your peers, then you're not going to be standing out. Everyone's going to be the same. So you put in university modules or university projects on your CV. Anyone can do that who's in the same university as you, or even in different universities. So it doesn't really hold as much weight as you think it does. If it was to be independent projects, it is literally tenfold, like in terms of how much they'll actually like care about your projects and actually be like impressed. So I've given a few ideas about a portfolio, but let me just talk through them briefly. So I do have a blog. I don't really use it too much, but that is the #1 best way to actually have some sort of portfolio in the first place, right? Because you can talk about anything, you can write about anything, and you can put this online and let people view it. You can put it on your CV, and it's really good. It's the #1 thing people go for a portfolio in computer science. I don't really have one. I do have a few blogs that I have written, but mainly it's my YouTube, because YouTube is unique. Not many people do YouTube. It shows all different types of characteristics. So it shows your confidence, social, your personality. It can show that your technical capabilities as well, things like that, all through a video. And I also just like this, I do it as a passion. So I thought, why not just repurpose it for hacking so it could be a cyber portfolio. So it's really important to have a blog or vlog for a portfolio, and that's one of the best ones to choose from. That's what most people do have. Most people do have a blog, but I've repurposed, I've changed it, so I'm doing vlogs instead, so I stand out a little bit more. Another good example some people often do as well is internships. So internships are very, very good. I do absolutely love doing them. They're really fun. So I did one at F-Secure, which is a cybersecurity consultancy firm, and I was hired as a hacker or cybersecurity consultant as an intern to be able to develop some sort of hacking and security projects. And I've now just finished having another internship. But yeah, so I did that. That was really fun. That was the best. And yeah, so that's 2 internships in a 3-year degree program. So university internships really do help as well. So another one is certifications. So in terms of the popularity, number one is blogs, number two is internships, and number three is certifications. So most people don't really get certifications. It's more something that not many people know too much about in terms of university. Like there's certifications for any subjects out there really. Like it's crazy. The amount, like even if it's on Udemy, there's still going to be a course and certification for any subject, right? So they are very like wide open and anybody can access them. And in cybersecurity specifically, also computer science in general, there are plenty of certification courses. So I've got 3 certifications. I've got EJPT, Junior Pen Tester, EWPT, which is Web Pen Tester, and EWPTX, which is Web Pen Tester Extreme. So that covers everything from like insecure Java and PHP deserialization and things like that, right? So quite advanced stuff. But yeah, so just as long as you have some sort of internship, it does really do help. So if you was to apply, they want to see some practical aspect to the stuff that you've learned. So you can sit in an auditorium and listen to a university lecture for 2 hours every single week. And if you're not doing anything with that knowledge apart from the coursework, then you're not applying yourself. That is how that's how the industry sees you. If you're not applying the work outside of university work, then they don't really see that as like, for example, extracurricular determination, because you're only doing the bare necessities for university work just to pass, which is still completely fine. But if you want to excel and you don't want to be unemployed for 6 months after you graduate, this is the things you have to do. So those are some of the portfolio things that I have in common. So for example, the number one was blogs or vlogs. Number two was internships. Number three was certifications. I do have other stuff as well. So I did do a cyber risk researcher position, and that was in the university. That was paid, everything like that. And that was for 6 months duration. It does really help any experience you get, no matter what it's in. So for example, it's not always about what you want to go into first. You can potentially do that, and ideally that's something that I'm trying to do. So for pen testing, you can only get into that roughly after 4 years of experience because it's a specialist niche. However, if you work hard doing the things that I've just said about a portfolio, then you can potentially limit those 4 years down and potentially even to 0. And that's ideally what I wish to do. So I wish to become a pen tester or security engineer straight out of university, skipping that 4 years of networking, sysadmin, IT support, to then like something similar to cybersecurity, maybe like policies and management in security, and then eventually move into pen testing or security engineers. I ideally want to skip all of those 4 years and just go straight into security engineering. So I understand this can be quite overwhelming, the amount of information I've shared in this video so far. I just want to say that if you don't try, then you will never know, right? So if you try a blog and it doesn't work, or you don't like writing or something like that, at least you've tried it. And at least you then have like say 1 or 2 blogs that you can then put on your CV. So you may not like blogs, but you may like doing vlogs like me. So that might be something. Or you may not like certifications, but you do like internships, or vice versa, right? So as long as you're kind of giving something a go, then it's something that can make you stand out, right? Because when you think about it, think of all the graduates, right, for computer science, no matter what speciality, or computer science in the entire world, or even from just like, like your home country, or even from your university. So if from your university, you probably get, if I had to guess, probably like 6,000 to 10,000 graduates in computer science a year, right? That's a lot. And if you're in the main percentage of that, then you're not going to stand out. If you're the same as everyone else and just average, doing the university work, logging off and watching Netflix, or logging off and watching anime, or whatever you do, then you're not going to be standing out. But even if you have something like a blog, you will stand out more than almost all of the average people, average graduates, right? Because if they're doing the bare minimum of the university work, even if they're getting good grades, most industries don't really mind what grade you get as long as you've got a degree. So this is in terms of, like from a first to a third, or like, what's it called? Yeah, like a third. They don't really like care as much as you think they would, apart from unless it's like some outdated trading firm or like finance place, right? Apart from those, most places don't really care, because if you've got other stuff to back it up, so for example like a portfolio, then there's no need to have a first, because they know full well that you've probably got a 2-2 from this university because of all the extracurricular stuff you do for this portfolio. So that is another way to think about it, right? So instead of limiting yourself just to university, you would like to do other stuff as extracurricular as well. Always diversify. So for example, if you're a business that does cybersecurity like F-Secure, they originally created antivirus, but they also do cybersecurity consultancy, and they do pen testing, and they do risk assessments, and they do absolutely everything. So it's very important to know exactly how to diversify. So for example, when I'm saying all this, I'm meaning, you know, university is like the sole product, right? If you have extracurricular, that's diversifying, because then you've got blog, vlog, internships, certifications, you know, you've got a portfolio, right? And that's very important. So that's kind of what I'm mentioning when I'm talking about diversifying. You need to make sure you've got various different options that people can choose from. And better yet, the university you go to also doesn't matter, right? So I'm saying this from a really objective point of view. Of course, some places will only hire you based on what university you've went to, right? But most places don't. Most places, if they see that you can apply knowledge outside of university, that is more than enough for them to either interview you or give you an offer. So I'm speaking from experience. So I had the opportunity to go to a top 25 university, a red brick university, as some trading firms and people in the industry call it. And I had an opportunity to go there. I got enough grades. I needed ABB in A levels, and I got ABB. Instead, I decided to go to University of Greenwich instead, which needed BBC to get in. So the grades was quite lower down, right? But this allowed me to have a bunch of free time after excelling well in the coursework and exams, to then be able to focus on my extracurricular stuff. Because if I went to a top 25 university, so let's say I went to Cambridge or Oxford, I will be so blown out with work. I'll only be able to do the coursework and the exams, and I'll be too knackered to do anything else. My whole time will be taken up by coursework, that I won't be able to do anything else. I won't be able to work, I won't be able to do extracurriculars, I won't be able to do anything, right? So you will then graduate from University of Cambridge or Oxford or a red brick, and you'll have probably, I don't know, a 2-1, 2-2 maybe, and you won't have anything else. You won't have a blog, portfolio, because you just didn't have enough time to build one, right? And this is actually a common thing. I think it's the University of Cambridge. They don't allow people to work whilst they're studying there because the work is too intense. So that literally just says it, like you won't have enough time to do anything else apart from the work. So a person who goes to Cambridge and has a 2-1 versus someone who goes to somewhere, for example, like Greenwich, and gets a 2-1 or maybe even a first, but also has extracurricular stuff. If they're not an outdated firm, they're most likely going to go with the second option rather than the first, because you've actually applied knowledge in this one, whereas this one you've just done university. So everything in university I've learned has been useful, but it hasn't been useful for my specific speciality I want to go into. So that is going to be pen testing. I haven't learned a lot of ethical hacking in my university. In fact, I've learned none. But everything I've learned about it, that landed me 2 internships, the certifications I've got, everything, right? This is all stuff I've done on my own. This is stuff I've done on the side. This is stuff I've done after A levels. I go to A levels. I work hard. I come home and then do a bit of studying for A levels, and then I do hacking, right? So it's important to always have like a passion. And so I do agree. A levels were a time where it was slightly hard to balance my social life and also working hard, but it's all paid off now. So now I have more of a social life than others. So it does really work, and it just depends what you diversify and what you prioritize first. University work gets set. I do it first. I do it to a good standard. I then relax, do some, I don't know, extracurricular, maybe make a YouTube video or do a certification. And then after that, I then can relax for this whole duration before the deadline. They say, oh, I really want to get here in life and in society. I want to get to this job. And then I say, what are you doing to make this happen? And they don't know, right? They don't know. So they're not doing anything else apart from university, right? Which is completely fine. But if you have a goal and you know it's a goal that you have to work for extra, then you can't just be doing university. Some industries require experience or like skills or like a certification. Like the amount of jobs I've seen for OSCP is insane. I don't have RSCP, but I'm going to be getting it, and I'm currently working on other stuff in the meantime to be able to compensate for it. So it's important to be able to do that, right? So if you was to go into like networking and it required Network Plus and you didn't have Network Plus, but you do have a degree, but they wanted that anyway, then you don't really have anything to kind of negotiate, right? But then if you said in an interview, well, okay, I just want to say I don't have Network Plus. However, one, I am willing to work for it. And two, I do have a vlog, I have different certifications, and I have practical experience. Would this be acceptable? And most chances are most likely they will say yes. So it's very important to, you know, like diversify and then negotiate. Diversify and negotiate. It's very important to do both, because if you can diversify and they want one specific thing, then you can negotiate from how you've diversified. Although this is the case, university still isn't irrelevant, and it still provides value. So it provides value in terms of like actually learning and like retaining knowledge, right? So it may not teach you the knowledge that is used in the industry. So certain technologies, AWS and cloud, things like that, it may not teach you that, but it will teach you how to retain knowledge and learn. So this can actually be used in terms of learning the industry stuff. So an easy analogy to think about is if you're reading, some of the stuff you're not going to remember, you're not going to retain the knowledge, and it may be harder to learn new things that way. But if you was to have coffee before reading, you'll retain more knowledge and you'll probably learn quicker. And this is exactly what university is. University is the coffee, and it allows you to retain knowledge better and more information to learn from. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want something and you want it really, like you want it soon, or you want it really, like really much, you really want it, then you will have to work for it. And university isn't enough to break into the industry. That's why there's a 6 to 12 month gap between graduating and then actually getting a job in the industry. It's important to diversify as well. So don't just do the university work, also do something else. So that could be a blog, a vlog, it could be certifications, an internship, anything like that, right? So as long as you're working on something else other than university work, that's basically what I class as diversifying, as long as it's in your industry area. You also want to then be able to negotiate as well with these diversifications. And most industries and most companies don't really mind where you went to university or what grade you got, providing you have something else to provide. So that could be extracurricular stuff. So if you don't know, I don't know, if you get a 2-1 and they wanted a first, if you have extracurriculars, you can negotiate and they might accept you. Things like that, all right? So that's kind of the TLDR of this video. I just want to say, please, if you did like this video, I spent a lot of time making it, so please hit the subscribe and like button. And yeah, just like maybe leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.